Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 4 of VBS here with First Church. Today's message is going to be a quiet and reflective one when Moses talks about the Passover.
Sorry if I seem a little upset today. I truly can't understand why so many of my people keep complaining. Why don't they trust God? Don't they remember the incredible things He's done for us since we left Egypt? The Red Sea, manna, quail, winning a big battle, and the most important thing of all. Wait, I forgot, you weren't there. You don't even know how we escaped from Egypt. Let me tell you what happened. See, my people have been captives in Egypt for more than 400 years. And those last years were no picnic. Pharaoh was awful to us. He worked us so hard and beat us, it was horrible. God told me to ask Pharaoh to let us go so we could worship God the right way. But that made Pharaoh even more mad and mean. Finally, God said He would rescue us. First, He sent 9 plagues to Egypt, really bad things like locusts and frogs, water turning to blood, gross. But they only happened to the Egyptians, not to us. But even then, Pharaoh wouldn't let us go. And then God sent one last plague. This plague was really serious. See, God warned that if Pharaoh wouldn't let us go, all the firstborn sons in Egypt would die, from Pharaoh's son to the lowest Israelite son. But God said that none of our children would be harmed. God said there would be sadness all over Egypt, and the Egyptians realized their children had passed. But in our houses, it would be quiet. God said after the last plague, we would need to be ready to leave in a hurry. We wouldn't have time to pack all our things. There wouldn't even be time to cook a regular meal. He said to eat unleavened bread, which is bread that hasn't even had time to rise. That night, it felt like one of the longest in history. It seemed to last forever. Then that night, at midnight, we heard what sounded like a loud wind pass over. And soon it seemed like all of Egypt was filled with crying and sadness. But in our houses, the Israelite houses, not even a dog barked. It was just as God had promised. He had passed over all of our houses. All of a sudden, an order came from Pharaoh for us to leave Egypt right away. God rescued us from captivity and led us out of Egypt that very night. In fact, that's when we headed to the Red Sea. Do you remember that? What an incredible rescue. God rescued us that night, a night we call Passover, because the angel of death passed over our houses